Alright, so this video is going to be a little controversial, so I'm going to open up with an initial statement that should keep a lot of the weight off of me. I need you guys to understand that I believe all content towards DMZ and Warzone specific content should be free, because Warzone and DMZ are free. Where I fear some of you guys are going to disagree with me is that even though I believe that that is the best case scenario, that's the extent of my belief. I believe it's the best case scenario. In DMZ Season 2, we're getting a new faction called the Crown Faction, and Modern Warfare 2 owners will be the only ones that have access to this faction. Factions, of course, give you missions and quests and then some rewards, cosmetics of certain kinds, blueprints. I mean, if they put a stat change weapon in a faction, that would be different, but factions basically give you keys, XP, contraband weapons, calling cards, loading screens, some outfits, and some blueprints. Now, if this faction was accessed through the battle pass on a free tier, or if this faction was just, given to everybody because it is a free-to-play experience, that would be pretty good. But Infinity Ward Activision, they're choosing to both encourage DMZ free-to-play players to buy Modern Warfare 2 and people that bought Modern Warfare 2 to go try DMZ. Honestly, that's fair. You might not want to hear it, but it's fair. And to everybody saying that this is a $70 faction, that's a bit ridiculous. You're not getting a faction for $70, you are getting an entire AAA video game with campaign, multiplayer, and Spec Ops. I know the train of thought is you have to own a $70 video game to have the faction, therefore the faction costs $70, but there's flaws in that logic. The faction comes with a fully fledged product. This logic is used a lot, and I understand where people are coming from, but it's incorrect. A fun example is that LEGO will give out special unique sets for purchases over $100 on their store. So if you go spend $100, you get a bonus set for free with your purchase, and people will say, oh, it's a $100 set. No, it's a bonus that you get from purchasing a $100 set. There is technically a barrier to entry, but it's not as if you have to spend $100 to get it, it's a bonus with the thing you spent $100 on. If you go to a fast food place and they say they have free drinks with a meal, and the meal is $10, it's not a $10 drink. It's a $10 meal with a free drink. The drink itself is probably around $3 for a large, let's just say, and instead of charging you $13 for a meal, they give you a $10 meal and a drink for free. I think people get hung up on the amount of money leaving their wallet and the thing that they're targeting that comes with it, but in fact, you're getting a full package. You're getting a full meal or a full game or a $100 Lego set with a bonus. When I was a kid and I saw, oh, you get a free blank when you buy a bunch of blank, I used to think, wow, that's a really expensive free blank. But it's not, it's a bonus, it's a marketing tactic. And again, getting existing Modern Warfare 2 owners to try DMZ and DMZ owners to go buy Modern Warfare 2, not a bad deal. And nothing's saying you can't wait for Modern Warfare 2 to go on sale, so I would say the controversy around this one's a little light. If factions came with more than just cosmetic things, then yeah. But in terms of universal game content, that's the only thing they give you. Everything else is like, again, keys and XP and contraband weapons. Things you can go and just play the game to get. So again, it does suck, and in an ideal world, you wouldn't have to pay anything, you wouldn't have to own anything, you just would get all the factions for free. But I honestly don't mind the people that did invest $70 in a Modern Warfare 2 that are playing the main game. I don't mind them getting a little bit of a bonus, a little bit of priority in this case. So I'm sorry if that upset some of you, but basically, yes, in an ideal world, you should have it for free. I agree. I'm not going to argue you shouldn't have it for free. I'm just also not going to argue that it's a huge deal that you should boycott the game over. So the next thing is that there is going to be a refresh for DMZ, and I don't get this. DMZ doesn't exactly have what I would call an economy or a trading system. I wouldn't exactly call it that because it doesn't exist. There isn't anything like that. So resets and refreshes to keep people from hoarding doesn't make a ton of sense, but basically, your contraband weapon inventories will be rolled back to the starting weapons, encouraging you to, go complete more missions and go explore the world more. Key inventories will be emptied again to go do more missions and go explore the world more. And faction missions and mission progress will be reset to make room for an updated mission set that incorporates all exclusion zones. Their reasoning for this is that mission progress in Season 1 got too difficult too quickly. With Season 2, we're making sure each mission's challenge and time requirements are more balanced. The key stash will now be able to hold specific mission items that you must gather from one exclusion zone and bring to another. This allows us to have longer form missions that utilize all of our exclusion zones. With the new mission set, we can employ multi-location missions that send players to Al Mazrah, to Ashika Island, and to Building 21. The mission refresh is made up of new missions, updated missions, and missions we felt worked really well from Season 1. As somebody who only plays DMZ casually, this isn't a huge deal for me if I have to be honest. I don't have a ton of investment in the things that I've gathered in DMZ, so I'm not too concerned about this, and it seems like the main reason for the reset is that they want to employ not just new missions, but a new style of missions, which require just a bit of a rework. So, okay, that does make a little bit of sense, and emptying your contraband weapons and keys is really just encouraging you to go play. In my opinion, it's a cheap tactic that doesn't really need to be called a reset or a refresh. I feel like they're copying the wipe concept from Tarkov, and they should have just phrased this as a rework to the mission system and probably just kept your inventories alone, because again, this game doesn't have a trading economy system, so there's no reason to take away my contraband M16 and 2 keys I'm holding. There's no reason to do that except to get more playtime on DMZ. Unless I'm missing something, this feels like a shallow, dumb thing that, again, is annoying but isn't so damning that I'm going to raise hell about it. The thing is that DMZ seems like it's gonna get a lot better. Not only are we gonna play on a new island, we also have enemy tuning and spawn point changes and mission difficulty tuning, so AIs won't be as annoying, spawns won't be as weird, exfils won't be as odd, and mission difficulty will be tweaked and balanced a bit. Honestly, all of that sounds great to me, so I'm more excited than not. In general, as somebody who bought and wants to play Modern Warfare 2, I'm excited that I get a new faction, and as somebody who likes to dabble in DMZ, I'm excited about the improvements they're going to be making. But I hope this is the last reset of DMZ. I hope if they do any other reset type things, it's for better, more understandable reasons. Again, reworking faction missions is one thing, but taking away my keys and contraband is an empty gesture that doesn't need to happen. These controversies could be mitigated just by them explaining their faction mission thing as a rework, and them just also giving people the option to buy the factions separately. If they want to play DMZ, but they don't want to buy the rest of Modern Warfare 2 just to get that new faction, maybe they could just spend $8 or $10 to get access to that faction and basically turn it into a micro DLC instead of something that you need to own the full game for. Because there are a niche amount, I'm sure there are, a niche amount of players that only take part in the free-to-play DMZ experience, and this is going to be really devastating to them. So yeah, basically if I ran Call of Duty, it would be perfect, but because I'm not running Call of Duty, and these issues aren't that big to me, I'm going to give this a massive, let's see how it goes. I feel like we're getting more good than bad here, and I think most people that are really interested in Call of Duty have already bought Modern Warfare 2, so the paid, quote-unquote paid faction is just not going to be that big of a deal. So that's my opinion. I'd like to hear your guys' takes. Maybe I sound like a evil Activision shill right now, but I really did look over their patch notes and their explanations for things, and while I don't fully agree with them, nothing made steam come out of my ears. So yeah, anyway, I will see you when I see you guys, and let's hope we get some actual multiplayer information soon, right? Because I'm fucking dying over here.